PRC. He is rapper NBA Ben 10. Now, he is affiliated with NBA Youngboy and the Never Broke Again collective. The 26-year-old was shot during a violent confrontation inside this Upper Kirby restaurant called Confessions Wednesday.
Jay Prince Jr. is the reason why NBA Ben 10 got shot and almost killed earlier today.
All entertainers, when you go to Houston, stay away from Jay Prince Jr. There's a whole play going on.
Let's practice our pronunciation. Repeat after me, speaking slowly and clearly. El clima de hoy is absolutely hermoso. But listen, this wasn't just some random robbery at a random restaurant. Youngboy had already publicly called out Jay Prince Sr., accusing him of running an extortion operation in Houston. He said it before his house ever got robbed. He said it before Jay Prince went online holding what was claimed to be his property. He said all of this before any of these incidents even unfolded. And now, 6 years later, his cousin ends up in the hospital, while Jay Prince Jr. is the one on the internet trying to explain the situation. So the real question is, how far back does this actually go? And what exactly has the Prince family been running behind the scenes this whole time? Now, here's where it gets detailed. 3200 block of Kirby Drive in Houston, Texas. Around 11:30 p.m., a confrontation reportedly broke out inside the restaurant. All-Star Jr., a Detroit rapper, claimed he was surrounded by multiple men, shoved to the ground, and had someone reaching for his chain. During that altercation, he pulled out a weapon and fired. 2 men were hit in the process. NBA Ben 10, whose real name is Ben Anthony Fields and who is Youngboy's cousin, was struck multiple times in the torso. A second individual, Dead End Ron, was also hit, taking shots to the arms and legs. Houston police responded and transported both men to the hospital. And at last update, Ben 10 was reported to be in critical condition.
With a couple guys. That altercation originally, it appears from what they were doing, was trying to take his chain. Sometime during that part of the fight, our victim, who was originally looked like he was being majorly assaulted by several people and getting his chains ripped off, he presents a...
Within hours, footage from outside Confessions started spreading online, showing Jay Prince Jr. at the scene. Hold up. All-Star Jr. then went on social media and directly named Jay Prince Jr. after the clip went viral. DJ Academics also reported claims that investigators were looking into possible involvement tied to the chain robbery that led to Ben 10 being shot. All-Star Jr. kept his story consistent, posting on Instagram and later dropping a track called Expensive Wristwatch that referenced the incident and even tagged Jay Prince Jr. While Ben 10 was still hospitalized, he was already turning the situation into music. Meanwhile, Jay Prince Jr. publicly tried to distance himself from everything. Ben Anthony Fields later stabilized, according to his family. And just to be clear, Ben 10 is not a random name. He's Youngboy's cousin and part of his inner circle from the start. That's why the situation hit so hard, because it wasn't just an associate, it was family. And listen, footage from outside that restaurant clearly showed Jay Prince Sr.'s son standing right there at the scene. All-Star Jr., born Jeremy Ford on February 6, 1994, is a Detroit rapper tied to the All-Stars Ball Hard collective alongside T Grizzly. He might not be a mainstream name, but hold up. He moves in serious circles and carries weight in Detroit's street rap scene. On April 8th, he was at Confessions in Houston wearing a chain. According to his account, multiple men surrounded him. He claims they tried to snatch it. From the very beginning, his story never changed. He said he fired in self-defense, and he never denied being part of what went down. He even went public and named Jay Prince Jr. directly. Then he doubled down, posting photos tied to the situation. And on top of that, he turned it into music. That's not accidental, that's calculated. You don't drop a song about a shooting while someone is still in the hospital unless you believe your version is solid and you want it documented. All-Star Jr. didn't move like someone scared of the fallout. He moved like someone trying to control the narrative before anyone else could. Now rewind. Back in June 2020, Youngboy had a home in Houston. A group broke in, Those individuals even posted videos from inside the house on Instagram. They took a chain. Youngboy responded directly on camera from his phone. Hold up. He made it clear there were plenty of ways to reach him privately. He basically called out the move, saying, don't take something like that to the internet instead of handling it off camera. J. Prince Sr. fired back publicly, repeatedly referring to Youngboy as a dumb boy in his statement. Hold up. He positioned himself as a Houston elder who had done a favor for someone he felt was too immature to even recognize it. He also reminded everyone that Youngboy and his brother had previously aligned with Mob Ties, the organization connected to J. Prince Jr. And the message was clear. Youngboy was once under that umbrella, and now it looked like he was turning against it.
Youngboy's version of events goes in a completely different direction. Hold up. He had already publicly accused J. Prince of running an extortion operation before that break-in ever even happened. Before June 2020, Youngboy claimed J. Prince tried to pressure him into a business arrangement, the kind where you pay just to move freely in someone else's city. He didn't sugarcoat it either. He called it extortion, and he said it on record. He even warned other artists, telling them to pay attention to how J. Prince moves in Houston. J. Prince's response at the time? You're not a friend or an enemy today. Let's keep it that way. Then Youngboy's Houston home gets robbed. Then J. Prince shows up publicly with the stolen property. Then, instead of making a private call, he takes it straight to social media. And listen, the sequence Youngboy described, pressure, refusal, then consequences, lined up exactly in that order. Now in hip-hop, checking in means reaching out to whoever controls a city before you move through it. You announce your presence, you show respect, and sometimes it goes beyond just a visit. In return, your safety in that city is supposedly protected. But if you don't check in, you're moving without any cover, and anything that happens to your chain, your car, or your people, that's on you. Now, J. Prince Sr. has denied for years that he runs anything like that in Houston. In a 2023 interview on $1 Million Worth of Game, he pushed back on those claims, saying a lot of people, from police to outsiders, try to paint that picture. But according to him, there's no money in that, and it's not how he operates. But listen, the incidents keep coming back. In November 2022, Takeoff from Migos was shot and killed in Houston after a dice game at an event hosted by J. Prince Jr. And every time something happens around the Prince family, the same question comes up. Did he check in? People close to the situation said he didn't and came through on his own without going through any channels. After his death, an Atlanta OG warned artists to stop checking in and instead bring their own security. The message was clear. Checking in doesn't guarantee safety. Now here's what stands out. J. Prince Jr. was present that night, and he was also at confessions when Ben 10 was shot. In both cases, he was there, and in both cases, he walked away without charges.
That's not a conviction, but it is a pattern people point to. James J. Prince Sr. founded Rap-A-Lot Records in Houston back in 1986. The label helped launch the Ghetto Boys and turned Scarface into one of the most successful names in Southern rap. Later, when Drake's issues with Birdman and Cash Money became public in 2014-2015, J. Prince stepped in. He flew to Los Angeles and arranged what he called a courtesy sit-down with Birdman, which ultimately led into Drake resolving his label situation. J. Prince even documented parts of that meeting himself. Back in 1988, the DEA opened an investigation into J. Prince Sr. and Rap-A-Lot Records. That case reportedly stretched on for over a decade. And according to congressional testimony, DEA agent Ernest Howard worked the investigation throughout the 1990s. The probe led to more than 20 convictions tied to people connected to it, but J. Prince himself was never charged or indicted in the case.